I have in me the ability to make you a better you. So if you work hard, focus, stay on point, you can do anything. Trust me.
We made this track to tell everybody they can follow their dreams.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
When we invest in ourselves, our glow, our vision, our vibe, we all shine. Together, we are black beyond measure.
Remember the revival? Relive the remix. Reunite for the Orange Blossom Classic. HBCU Reunion Experience. It's year 3, baby, and we back with that fire. Calling all HBCU fans. Labor Day weekend. The I Love Jackson State University takes on the venomous Florida A&M University. Tickets are on sale now. Watch the game in premium style seating or watch it from a luxury suite. And of course, you know the halftime show is going to be epic right here in the 305. The sonic boom of the South and the illustrious Marching 100. Who you rocking with? The 2023 Orange Blossom Classic. Don't miss the HBCU Reunion Experience. Labor Day weekend, Miami Gardens, Florida, Hard Rock Stadium. Trust me, we'll see you there. Oh. Check out OrangeBlossomClassic.com for tickets and info.
All right, good evening. Hello, Rattler Nation. I'm Brian Fulford, Kelvin Rozier, Marcus Green. We are the ONG Strike Zone. It's good to be on with another live episode for you tonight because we are celebrating another championship. Celebrating another championship. Feels good to be champions. And all that comes with it. Our second of the spring. Third, actually, as my good friend Keith from Fifth Quarter Fangs Up podcast says, this is actually the 5th championship that FAMU has won this school year. That's regular season and conference titles. So we'll talk about that and more. Before we get going, Kelvin, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, man. I'm very excited, man. I'm glad to be with the brethren as usual. Long live Kofi. All is well, though.
Amen. Brother Kofi would have wanted championships, and we got him. We've got him. Actually, have claimed three of them, since he left us to manage this job without him. Marcus, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Just basking in the glory.
Basking in the glory. Beautiful thing it is, right? So, yeah, it feels good. So give a shout out to everybody who has jumped in early inside of the chat rooms on YouTube and Facebook. We appreciate you for supporting the show, the ONG Strike Zone, a part of the Black College Sports Network and Jericho Broadcast Networks. Find us and follow us at ONG Strike Zone, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Please make sure to try and share the show if you would with a friend. And go download that Jericho Broadcast Networks app on the Google Play and Apple App Store. Just search MyJBN, MyBCSN. So, yeah, baseball, as Bull jumps in, said that's we got a lot of baseball to talk about tonight. Definitely shout out to the folks who jumped in early. Kenneth Rozier, we know that guy. He's family. Shout out to HBCU Band Talk for getting in there early. Tamara T, say hello. You always jump in there early. J Mac jumping in there. Melissa Wilson jumping in. Mary 305 giving a shout out. Meredith jumping in there. I noticed Bull said he was in the OBC commercial there. You have to tell us what the count is. How many seconds into that promotion you are? I'm sure he is. There might be a few people that we know in there. Dwayne Sweet, thanks for jumping in. Jumping in there. EA jumps in. Congratulations to the Rattlers. Yeah, so we got a lot of show to talk about. Okay, so here's what we're doing today. We're picking up. We're talking about what's current. We're talking about what is upcoming, and we're talking. We're catching up with people that we missed, that we haven't had a chance to talk to. So coming up at the bottom of the hour, I know in this opening segment we're going to talk a lot about baseball, a lot about FAMU baseball. Then we're going to kind of pivot. You know what I mean? Pivot. Just like in basketball, a basketball pivot. We're going to make a basketball pivot, and we're going to catch up with our head women's coach, Salon Pillow. Coach Pillow, we've been reaching out to Coach Pillow over the last couple of months to get her on. She's been super busy out on the recruiting trail, so we're going to find out what the latest is with our women's basketball program, slowly building. And so I know a lot of you are eager to find out where we're at, where things are, and how we're going to continue to build from the previous season. And then coming up at the top of hour 2, we're going to talk to the 3-time FAMU conference baseball winning coach Jamie Shupe, who won his 3rd conference title this past weekend, and kind of talk to him about that. And then sort of at the bottom of hour 2, we'll kind of clean up with any other news and notes that we didn't get to talk about. So that's the rundown. So if you got your questions for Coach Pillow, put them in the chat. We'll kind of star them and see. We may ask and see what goes on there. Chuck Hunt always checking in from Monroe, Louisiana. If you got questions for Coach Shoupe, you can put those in the chats, and we'll make sure to see if it's not a question that we were already going to ask. We'll go from there. But all right, so fellas, Kelvin, Marcus, let's talk about the baseball tournament. I had the fortune of driving up to Atlanta to watch and cover that Saturday and Sunday. A lot of people thought I was crazy last Sunday when on the Sports Wrap I predicted an all-Florida SWAC championship game. A lot of people thought I was young. Kind of thought I was colors on my sleeve. But I think I do a little.
Pat yourself on the back.
Mm-hmm.
My other shoulder. Yeah, so as in watching the broadcast, and then I would just say, well, let's just go. We'll go quickly because we got a lot of topics that we can go through. So let's start with how they did it. It's an interesting look at how the Rattlers did it, and the reason we call the title when it all comes together, because I think this is a case of offense, pitching, defense, all coming together at the right time. And really, this is a 500 ball club. Let's be real in terms of record. But We knew they were better than their record, but it's a team that put it all together at the right time. And that's what you have to do in all sports at this point in the season, right? And so that's what I look at. And so, Kelvin, when you look at what this team did over the course of 6 games in Atlanta, how do you think they did it? What was the recipe for them in your eyes?
I was able to watch Coach Shoupe in a lot of the shows following the tournament, and I think it came down to what we thought it would come down to. We had really good pitching from pitchers who pitched their best games in the tournament. We knew we were a good hitting team, and the bats came alive. Outside of the 1-0 squeaker after we got to the losers bracket against Purview, outside of that, I think we pretty much was 7, 8, 9 runs every game. So, when you can hit the ball like we can hit the ball, you're never out of a game. We played fairly clean, no errors, but very few errors, let's put it that way, in terms of fielding. We had some base running ones, I think, in the game. Actually, the game we lost when we had the 4-run lead, we had a chance to have more runs, and it was a couple of base running things where guys got 2 of those outs in that inning. And when the bases were loaded, were guys, one guy was trying to stretch a double while they were throwing home and got thrown out at second, and then another guy got thrown out. What was it, at third, I believe? But we played good defense. We had good pitching, and we hit the ball. And in postseason play, that's the recipe for winning.
Marcus, your thoughts on how this team did what they did?
Well, first I want to give Kelvin props because way back in March, I know there were some rumblings about, especially after we had lost an extra inning game to Mercer. We were up like big, and then they came back and won extra. And Kelvin said, "We'll be all right." Coach, he's already told us on the show. He said, he experiments with the middle of the week non-conference games with the pitchers and test people out, give them experience. But when it comes to conference play, things are going to change. And he said he wouldn't be surprised if we won the SWAC East, which we didn't, and contend for the championship, which we did. So I'm giving Kelvin his props with his March prediction, early season prediction.
Wow,
and I would agree with his assessment that even like some pitchers that when Coach Shoupe rolled him out and I saw the starting lineup or I saw it mid game, I was like, I was worried because we're putting everything on Hunter Veets. He's a friend of the show, but he's been the most consistent. But Dallas Tees came through. I believe he was the winner of the 1-0 game, our first elimination game. And then I forgot who started. Was it Raylan Wagner? I believe who started the second game against Alabama State, where we staved off elimination. And I forgot who pitched the third game. But key pitching came through it may have been the young man, the transfer from Kansas City, from the community college in Kansas City. And so he really threw a good game. And so timely pitching, and also noticed in one of the articles, it may have been the one written by Gerald, where he interviewed people and said that the team really endeavored to cut down on the number of errors. And I think they dropped 14 or 15 errors compared to last year. They happen to recall that during the tournament, there were a couple of key errors that allowed Southern to come back when we had a big lead in the 2022 SWAC tournament. So everything did come together. The pitching, timely pitching from key members where we needed it. We needed those games. The hitting has been there, and even with the exception of the PV game. And then just the resolve, the senior resolve. We have a lot of seniors on the team. And so just having them there and pulling through, remembering last year, but also pulling on their vast baseball experience, in addition to Coach Shoupe's moves, some of which were questioned online, but were proved to work out in the end for a championship.
You mentioned those pitchers, and I like to call them the I hope I say this, the unsung heroes of this tournament. You know, and you mentioned Raylan Wagner. You also got to mention Dallas Tees, Trey Simmons. I'm gonna get
Trey
to their
Simmons.
I'm gonna get to their order in terms of which, but I know, you know, let's start first off. Caleb Granger in the first game against Alabama State, the game in which, you know, we give up 5 runs in the bottom of the 9th. Well, actually, we had an 8-3 lead, gave up a run in the bottom of the 8th. Then, of course, we give up the 5 runs in the bottom of the 9th. That's a game that, you know, what's funny is on that particular day, that's a day in which probably Bethune-Cookman won a game on the last at bat. Alabama State beat us on the last at bat. We rebounded from that game. You know, that's a game where, you know, I talked to, you know, I mentioned to somebody, we were down 2-0 to start, tied the game at 2 in the 3rd, jumped in the top of the 5th where we jumped 3 runs on them in the top of the 5th, added 3 runs on the top of the 8th. We go into the 3, we're 6 outs away from winning that contest, and we're up 8-3 on the number 1 team in the division. You know, Granger, outside of giving up the two runs in the first inning, pitched a solid game. You know, we didn't give up anything else in that. Actually committed no errors in that contest. I mean, they don't count wild pitches as errors. So, I mean, there was some wild pitches that allowed Alabama. They don't necessarily count those as errors, you know. So we actually, that was, you know, the second, let me see, was that the second game after Veets? Yes. Yeah, it was the second game after Veets, right? So we got the performance from our starters. And all weekend, we got the performance from our starters that we needed. How about in an elimination game at 9 o'clock in the morning, you know, against Prairie View, a 1-0 ball game in which, you know, again, nobody had errors, but Dallas Tees, 7 innings, gave up 4 hits, walked 3, you know, he got all the way into the closing moments, and then Coach Shoupe throws out Zach Murray. And now Zach, as he has become known, every day Murray pitched in every game, you know, so he gets the closeout game 1. Unfortunately, he gives up 2 runs in game 2, but he comes right back in a 1-0 ball game, shuts down Prairie View to close them out. And you know, credit to Dallas Tees for going 7 strong innings. And then I'm taking a second because I'm going through the box scores. Then in the sort of game 2 versus Alabama State, a game that we get down, we were down 3-1 in the through 6 innings before we put on a 7-run 8th inning. But the fact that we kept that game close, Raylan Wagner goes 8 1/3 innings, right? I mean, now that tells you about, I think, the trust that Coach has. The fact that he had, you know, we'd given up 6 runs. Well, actually, let me take that back. Raylan had only given up 3 runs prior to us going up and getting 7 runs in the 8th. He gave up a couple of runs there in the bottom of the 9th before Coach pulled him out. But the kid went 8 1/3 innings, damn near pitched a complete game with the season on the line, right? And then, of course, you get the performance by Trey Simmons in game 3 versus Alabama State, where Trey goes 6 innings, and it's just those guys. And then, of course, Zach Murray closing the games out. there were so many people who wondered. Like, here's a question for you guys. Going into the what we call the semifinal game Saturday, the big question floating around by a lot of the media was, will Coach go to Veets on Saturday, or will he go to Simmons? What was your thought on the decision to go to Simmons and not Veets? First off,
to be honest, well, I'll jump in. I was surprised. I wouldn't have bet my life on it, but I would have bet something on it that Veets was going to go against Alabama State, because Trey Simmons, I haven't looked at his stats, but I remember seeing a couple games, and his ERA was pretty high, like in the 8s or 9s or something. And I was worried, okay, we're going against the #1 team that has seemingly a lot of hitters, but he pulled it out. I mean, he balled out. So when I was watching the pregame show, and I think y'all mentioned he was starting, I was like, okay, coach, you know what you're doing, or you know what you're doing, and you're saving Hunter for tomorrow, and he's got him in his back pocket. So it's almost like a game 6 of the World Series, where you put someone out there, and you got your whole bullpen and even your starters on short rest, or starters as a middle reliever if you have to. And the other thing about that game, if I remember correctly, it seemed like that game, and maybe even the championship game, the strike zone was really, really either tight or wide. I was like, oh my gosh, there were some pitches. I was like, you know what? That either looked like a ball and he called it a strike, or it was a strike and it was just barely missing it. One of those was really tight. So I was kind of worried about that, but he powered through, and he's a big boy. He's like 6'2", 225, according to his stats. So he had a presence on the mound, literally and figuratively.
Yeah. Do you want to add anything in there, Kelvin?
Yeah, I was just going to say that one, I believe Vets would have came in had not that Saturday game had things fallen apart. But you got to remember now, Coach had played Alabama State 6 times, and even though we only won one of those 6, we in 2 more times in the tournament, he had seen them enough, and we had been competitive in the games we played against them, outside of say 1 probably. So we had a chance. We went 14 innings. We went extra innings twice against them, I think, in the regular season, and we had a couple of 1 or 2 run games. So, I thought he was confident. He was showing some confidence, and he know that he had an ace in the hole if he needed to pull it out. But I think he felt good about our bats and the way we played, and we were rewarded. And to what you was pointing out, and I believe J-Mac mentioned in the comments, it was impressive that we, those starters gave us 6, 7, 8 innings. One, because the bullpen is our weakness. 2, because the strike zone was so inconsistent. I mean, there were some balls way outside that were, being called strikes. And sometimes he'll get a low pitch. Sometimes he wasn't giving a low pitch. Yeah, it was just very inconsistent, especially that Saturday game against Alabama State. So the pitchers did a good job adjusting to how the game was being, the balls and strikes were being called also.
Yeah, you were going to add in there, Marcus?
Oh no, I think we got a baseball player in the chat.
Look, it was just really impressive. Here's my thought. Okay, so I told people, and I think I said this on the pre-show, I thought the plan for Trey Simmons was Trey Simmons to go 1 time through the order. The minute we jumped out and got a 2-0 lead in the first, and then we're up 3-0 going into the middle of the 4th, Trey was starting to go the second time through. And I think that gave Coach a little cushion. And the big inning actually was the bottom of the 4th inning. We only gave up 2 runs, and we kept a 1-run lead. So I think what resulted of that is the top of the 5th is where we really broke it open with 3 runs. And so now we go from the mindset of Coach Shoupe probably changing from the guys are going the second time through. Trey is still pitching well. Let's just see what Trey can do. And then, boom, we get out of the fourth inning, still have a 1-run lead. The bats add 3 more. Now we're up 4. And guess what? Coach is probably thinking, I could go with Trey a couple of more innings. And guess what he does? 5th inning, no runs allowed. 6th inning, no runs allowed. Trey's, I mean, it worked out just perfectly. And that's why I had asked Coach, Dallas Tees, Trey Simmons, Raylan Wagner. And I know the forgotten man is Caleb Granger. Those 4 guys, and of course, look, we know what Veets did, and we know Zach Murray, who was named the tournament MVP. They shut it down. But those 4 starters in the middle of the 2 Veets games, those were the unsung heroes. I mean, we'll talk about, Greco and his hitting and the home runs by the team, but it should not be lost that those 4 guys pitched their tail off. If they, somebody else can maybe, I haven't had a chance to go deep diving. They may have pitched their best games of the season in that moment. And that's a beautiful thing to see. And I know Coach had said in postgame, he said he gave them all a big hug. And I said, heck yeah, because no one really was counting and expecting, no one other than them and Coach and maybe the rest of the pitching staff and their teammates, us on the outside, but that's why we sit on the outside, right? we analyze based on the numbers that we see. None of us were really we were hopeful, but we didn't know what we were going to get. And so seeing those guys perform, congratulations to those guys for pitching their best. And they definitely should be applauded and praised. And, if I had all of their social media handles, I'd tell you to go follow them, find them, and Rattler Nation, go give them a shout out, because those 4 dudes, along with Veets, and of course we talked to Veets and Murray, a Tallahassee kid. I mean, how awesome is that? A Tallahassee guy to be able to do what they did. And I know, I don't know, just any other thoughts you guys want to add there on just we could talk about offense all day, but pitching is what we all talked about, winning championships, but damn, that pitching that came through for us. Boy, was it great.
Mm-hmm. No, I pretty much, I was sitting there watching on my phone. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Kelvin.
No, I was just going to say real quick, shout out to AD Sykes for being active on social media and making tickets available for those that attend the game. So, we had this fan support looked at, pretty strong on Friday and Saturday. And just thank her, want to thank her for being an ambassador. And of course, she was there in all the shots, pretty much after every game, on the field, greeting the team and the coaches and so forth.
Hey, I'll take that. I'll take that over the other. I'll take that over the other guy who jumps in a lot of photos. At least she was into the game, buying tickets, putting her money where her mouth is.
Right.
And so I'll take that. You want to jump out there and throw water on people and get big hugs? I'll take that, AD. Because you earned it. You earned it, man. And then, hey, I tweeted this out. You always hear her talk about improving the student athlete experience, right? What does she do, Kelvin? You talk about this real quick. We've gone to other regionals before. Is this normal that we put the team on a bus 48 hours so that the team can get to Gainesville or wherever they're going and be fully 48 hours before first pitch, that's pretty good. I would think. We're only 2 hours away. So, that
when we went to Georgia Tech, I believe we were early too. I believe the NCAA assists with some of the costs when you make the tournament. And Coach Shoupe is very detailed. Before the season starts, he has his itinerary and how everything laid out, and he's not looking for the money at the end of the season. He already got his money, so he's very proactive in how he operates his program. So shout out to Coach Shoupe for that.
Right. All right. I had some other stuff that I was looking for that I will find. I found it here. Just one quick note before we go to commercial. This tweeted out from the FAMU Baseball Twitter account. The Rattlers had a historic season, having broke the program's runs, home runs, doubles, and RBI records. And I'm assuming that is a season record.
Correct.
So 447 runs, 69 home runs, 112 doubles, 409 RBIs, and 13 hits from breaking the single season hits record. So, assuming that we play a few games in Gainesville, we might be able to even break that record. But I think in total, FAMU had hit in the SWAC tournament six home runs. No, 9. How many home runs did we hit in that championship game? 3 or 4? We finished with, I believe, 9.
I believe 3. I'm guessing.
Okay, so we finished with 9 home runs in that tournament, which, I was searching for and trying to find out whether anybody had any historical records on that kind of stuff. So we'll talk about that and some more. But coming up on the other side of the break.
One quick interjection, Brian. One other record that just came out like an hour ago from the athletic account. The FAMU baseball team had 4 players with 50-plus RBIs for the first time in program history, and Ty Hanchey is 2 away, I'm assuming that tournament numbers count. So if he gets 2 RBI in the NCAA regional game, that he would make the fifth person this year to get 50-plus RBIs, which would once again be another team record or team accomplishment or program accomplishment.
Right. That's awesome. All right. We'll talk more baseball and as well as some other sports on the other side. But as I said, we're going to take a literally pivot from off baseball to the basketball court. We're going to talk to our head women's coach, Salon Pillow. We've been, if you guys have, we've been waiting to talk to Coach, and she's been hard on the recruiting trail. So we'll get a chance to talk to her and, see where things are at with our women's basketball program coming up on the other side of the break. So you're watching the O&G Strike Zone. You guys hang in there. Give us a quick 2 minutes, and we'll be right back with Coach Pillow.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
right, welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, Marcus, and joining us is our head women's basketball coach, Coach Salon Pillow. Coach Pillow, how you doing out there?
I'm doing well. How are y'all doing tonight?
Hey, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. We're celebrating a championship. Just talking about all that good stuff that comes with it. Let me ask this, but I'll jump right in and ask, when you see another program within the university, within the athletic structure, when, we've seen tennis this spring, we've seen baseball, and of course this is after the winter season. What does that do for you and does it get your juices boiling? Is it like, hey, we want to get, we gotta get there. We gotta get the championship. What kind of reaction does that get from you and maybe your staff or your players when you see the hard work that the other programs are doing and they're able to come home with those SWAC trophies?
Well, you forgot volleyball. Volleyball's back to back.
Right. Yes, man.
They've done it twice. Also, it's just when you look at all three of them, they've been so persistent and dedicated to the process. For both baseball and for tennis, it's their first one, and I know Nikki's been here for over 25 years. I'm guessing. Shoupe not as long. How long's he been there? Like 15? Has he been here that long?
14. I think 2014.
Yeah. So just the perseverance and to stick with it and push through to get those championships is something in itself, honestly. I mean, just think of all that the adversity they faced in that time. I know I've been here 3 years and had 3 ADs, so I can't imagine what 25 plus or close to 15 years will look like for them and what they faced.
Definitely. You're very familiar with overcoming and dealing with adversity. Talk about evaluating the end of the season. What things do you feel went well, improved? What were some of the challenges where you kind of look back on the season, you say, this didn't go kind of the way we wanted to, and then how do you prepare for the next year?
Yeah, so I say that although reflecting back, I'm going to tell you, like, in it and during it, this was not my view. But now that I have time, that the season's over and I've been able to reflect on it, we have actually come a long way, even though our record does not reflect that. We were able to run more things. There was tons of adversity. Again, didn't have my whole roster, but maybe 3 or 4 games of the season. If you remember, we had some players miss some games early in the season. And then as the season went on, we had injuries. We finished probably the last quarter of the season with 8 players. And it'd be different if you could pick the 8 that you wanted to finish with. But, we had to completely pivot and come up with a new game scheme, a new philosophy. So now moving forward, we're starting over again. So we had 6 seniors, and my assumption was that 3 of them would come back, and of the 6, and none of them decided to come back. That's just the way of the portal and, the COVID year and the grad transfer year. We got all those things that are about to end soon, so there's not such as big as a guessing game. The portal changes the whole game. But as far as like, are they going to take their COVID year? Are they not? Are they going to transfer for their grad year? All those kind of things came into play. Of course, Dylan, she decided to go closer to home. I cannot blame her for that. Was at Virginia, and then in Florida. She's from California, so she has the opportunity to go play in front of her family her last year. I'm a big family person. Can't blame her for that. And then Mide and Paula, they're both doing great. They decided they didn't want to play basketball anymore. Paula's already got a job in academic advising at TCU. Mide is going to finish up school in the fall. She's doing an internship with this law firm in Canada. So she's doing well. She's on path. And that what I do this for. I want my girls to be prepared for life after basketball. So although the basketball didn't work out the way I envisioned it for them, those two young ladies with Mide and Paula, like they are set. They're on track. They are moving forward with their life after basketball. And Dylan's positioned herself to do the things with her music and entertainment and all that kind of stuff, being back on the West Coast in California and close to her family. So I'm really proud of them, of all of them. And the other three seniors, my OG ones, the ones that were here with me with Stacia. She was one of the first ones to graduate in her family, and she was one of the only ones that have a job lined up when she graduated. That's not common for anyone, really. So she's set to be a teacher back in her hometown and help with her basketball team. We got Kaylin. She graduated top of her class in the business school, and she's got job offers, but decided that she wanted to go to grad school, and she's going to have a job regardless. She had a great internship the previous summer that put her in a position to have job offers. And then also Kaylin, she's working hard too. She's back home right now, and she's working. So, I mean, those are the things outside of the basketball that I feel like were successes for our program.
Nice. Go ahead, Kelvin. I may circle back to that depending upon what you guys ask. Go ahead, Kelvin.
Definitely kudos on all those players graduating. That was one of the things that I did notice, and of course, that's the major piece of why they're here. And so it's great to see that part that the young ladies are doing so well. Not only did they graduate, but they graduated with accolades. They were honor students and so forth. So
Right.
that's awesome. You led me right into what my first question was going to be, which is roster management. So now, given everything you just laid out, I'm kind of interested. I know you signed some players earlier. I know you had some players that were injured at the end of the season. So my question is, how many more players you want to sign? What are you looking at? What, high school versus transfer reporter type deal? And those players who were injured, how is their recovery coming along going into the fall?
Okay, so I was just having this conversation with a colleague today about the high school kids. They're at a disadvantage right now, especially unless you're a top high school kid. They're kind of third on the pecking order. It's transfer, JUCO, and then high school players, and that's kind of where I am, especially in my position. I only have 1 year left on my contract. I don't really have the time or opportunity to bring in a high school player and develop them. I need somebody that can help me right away. I need someone who's got the experience, who doesn't have to really adjust to college life. Now, I have learned that some of my Power Five, they have to adjust to having so much to do in Tallahassee and in HBCU. That's been an adjustment, but still they understand what is expected as far as the work ethic and what it takes to win. That was an 8-part question. Let me try to remember everything that you said. So I have 5 players returning. That would be Skylar. She was injured at the end of the season, and she was playing so well. I mean, she was really big on the Alabama trip, and then she got hurt the next game at home, that next swing. But she's been doing an amazing job. She can't do a lot physically, but she's been really focusing on her diet. She's even lost some weight, and she's doing everything she can to be prepared to come back. She was so disappointed, and as we all were, her season ending a little early. We have Perry coming back. She did not play because of shoulder surgery. She's back running. She looks great. She came by the office last week, and she looks in great shape. She's been able to run and do some more things in the weight room. So her shoulder's coming along great. We have Ari coming back. Yvette, our kid from Spain. And lastly, we have the post player coming back. So those last 3 that I mentioned were part of the 8 that finished the season. They did a great job for us and coming in and working hard every day with the circumstances. That wasn't easy for anybody, but those three, they showed up every day. Was
Okay.
I'm sure I'm missing a part. What was the next? Oh, how many recruits? Look, I got it. How many recruits am I bringing in, and do I need to get? Okay, so as you said, we
sorry about the complex.
Huh?
I'm sorry about that complex question. I'm known to do that.
See, I'm on it. I got it. So we signed one high school kid early out of Detroit area. So she's been signed. And then we signed 2 kids from Daytona State. So they'll be joining us a big, 3-4, and another guard. We have signed Yvette's sister. She's transferring from Moorhead. So another hard worker. And then we have another commit that's not official yet, so I can't really speak about her. So that bring us up to 10. And I have 15 spots. And honestly, y'all, I usually try to keep it around 13. But the way my last 2 seasons have gone and ended with injuries, I'm going to get best available, and I'm going to try to fill out the roster with 15. It's hard to manage 15, but shoot, I don't want to be in that situation again with only 8 players. So hopefully with more numbers, maybe we'll be healthier. And I'll just have to play the numbers game. That's what Coach McCollum does. I took a page out of his book with all the walk-ons and all that kind of stuff. He never has a problem with numbers. So I definitely talk to him a lot. He's a huge support and helps a lot.
Yeah.
Great job, Coach. You did a great job.
I didn't miss anything.
You got it.
All right.
Marcus, before you go, I jump in there. So, Coach, you'd be open to definitely bringing in some walk-ons and things of that nature to fill out that, the +2 or however you do it, right? So you can get a full 15.
Well, yeah. So I have scholarships available still. So I'm going to try to fill those out. I'm not going to just bring anybody in just to have numbers. It's really important that we have good people building a culture. We can't afford to have any knuckleheads in now. I've had some kids reach out that are phenomenal players, but I can't chance bringing in a low character kid or a kid that we're going to have to keep our thumb on, because the ladies that we have work so hard. That just takes time away from them and time to develop them away. If I have to chase knucklehead 1, knucklehead 2 over here and making sure they're where they're supposed to be and in class and all that kind of stuff. So we have a group. We finished 3rd in athletics. I believe we finished behind baseball and volleyball. With our GPA, we got 3.41. So, I mean, let me have one. Baseball and volleyball already have championships. Let me get the academic championship. Let me win in the classroom at least. They're double dipping. But we're still working hard at that. So, I mean, we continue to have goals outside of basketball just to keep us motivated and find wins where we can find wins and keep our morale up.
All right. Go ahead, Marcus.
Good evening, Coach. I guess I'm going to only stick to a 3-part question instead of 8 like Kelvin. But I guess the first one is, what should Rattler Nation expect in year 4? So that's the first question. And I guess the next 2 are kind of tied to it. With only 5 folks returning, are you looking to reshape the roster to perhaps have a different style, not a different style of play, but I don't know if there's certain size or other physical attributes that you're looking to augment the returning players? That's question number 2. And the third question kind of ties in. I saw somewhere, I think VP AD Sykes, maybe a month or so ago, mentioned some in an interview at the 220 QB Club that I think the state of Florida had ratified an amendment where student athletes could get in-state tuition. At least that's what I thought I heard. And how has that impacted your ability to recruit, not having to tussle with out-of-state out-of-state tuition and managing that from the dollars or scholarship standpoint?
Okay, I'll go from the beginning. So number 1, I'm going to put an asterisk by year 4 because year 1 was COVID. And I'll put a half asterisk by year 2 because it was
still
still
cold.
COVID, like the way the
Yeah.
numbers and everything were. So year 3 really felt like my first true season, even though we still had adversity, we still have our issues and things like that. It felt more like a traditional season, more like that. So moving into year 4, technically, I feel like our culture is going to take a huge jump because I'm vetted and was very careful with the type of kids we brought in, meaning like their work ethic, more kids with a little bit of chip on their shoulder. Sometimes kids come here and they're thinking, well, they have a chip on their shoulder. This is what I ran into. They're better than the kids that we may have already had. So that all that work they put in at their other school, they have to do half that work and still get the reward of all the playing time because they're better. So now I feel like I have the majority of the roster is more like-minded and they just want to compete. They want to play, they want to win, and they're not worried about like I'm better than this person, so I'm not going to work as hard. They're ready to get in and get after it and compete for spots. So I think that's going to, even last season, I mean, we competed more in practice. It's still not where I want it, but it was much more competitive than year 1 and 2 for sure. And I think that's going to take an even bigger jump in year 4 moving in, because most of these, they want to play, they want to work hard, and they're competitive. Especially, I mean, I'm about to say especially, but everybody new coming in has that mentality. Second part of this question, don't tell me, because I've been acing my test. Second part. Oh shoot. Okay, I don't have time, I guess. What was the second part?
Attributes of what you're looking for.
What I'm looking for?
Yeah.
Style of play was kind of looped in there to see whether the style. I think
style of play. If I'm going to change my style of play.
Yeah.
Actually.
Go ahead.
So to answer that question, the style of play has always been to defend, turn our defense in the offense. And I think you guys saw more of that in spurts during the season. But again, towards the end, we only had 8. So it's really hard to press and get into people's shorts defensively and all that type of things. When you only have 8, you had to change the style. We play a lot more zone than I expected that we would play. But again, with the 8 that we had in the matchups, it was difficult to match up man-to-man because we spent so much time last preseason on our defensive principles, help, and all that kind of stuff. And as I said, throughout the season, at the beginning, we didn't have a full roster. In the middle, I felt like we got it going again, and then we get an injury or we get some type of disciplinary situation and somebody to sit out, and then we were back in the same rotation. Just had to switch and fit what we had available to play. But we've always been about pace. So I know I've talked about it before. Our team philosophy is PACE, P-A-C-E, is purpose, accountability, communication, and energy. So we want to get out there, and our purpose is, well, it's twofold. Off the court, I want our girls to be thinking about their purpose so they're prepared for life after basketball. On the court, we're talking about why we're doing the things we're doing. So it translates into game situations. Accountability, that's huge in life. It goes on and off the court. I have rules. If you can't follow them, I don't care if you are my starter or if you get 2 minutes, you're going to be held accountable. I have to try to establish a culture. I can't let you get away with something and not let somebody else. Now, always are different circumstances. Sometimes people just make mistakes. They're on point all the time. So there's going to be a consequence, of course, but you're going to be held accountable. But that may vary, but everybody's going to be held accountable. Communication is huge on the court. It's huge off the court. That's how we always want our kids to have academics first. If there's a tutor or practice at the same time, I'm going to tell you go to your tutor. As long as you communicate. You can't tell me 5 minutes before practice, yeah, coach, I ain't going to make it. I got a tutor. Like, I'm going to need you to communicate clear and often and with care. So we always talk about communication and then energy. We have 2 hours mostly to be on the court. We're going to be here for the 2 hours. So how do you want to approach it? You want to approach it with good energy, bad energy, or what? Because I prefer us to go and get after it for 2 hours, have fun, cheer each other on, have great energy, because we want to be there regardless. So let's make the most out of it and be intent with our time together.
Was there another part to that, Marcus? There
was. I know, but in the interest of time, I won't monopolize it. It was just about their in-state recruiting for student athletes.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I can answer that quick. I mean, that's amazing. I'm blessed in the fact that I have 15 scholarships, and I don't really have to manage like some of my other sports that do like partial scholarships and things like that. So I mean, it helps across the board. It helps everybody with our budget and things like that. So that is great.
Okay. So basketball's head count versus equivalence as it relates to scholarships?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Basketball's head count?
Yeah, we have 15 scholarships for women's basketball.
Okay.
15 full scholarships. So.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you.
Hey, Coach, before we get you out of here, I want to go back to something, because I think when, Rattler Nation will hear that, oh, we only have 5 returners, and they'll hear, oh, we're starting over again. And people will go, oh, man, we're starting over again. But that's not like a lot of programs are doing that. A lot of mid-majors. I want you to just take a minute and maybe talk about that, because you're dealing with what everyone else is dealing with. And I gotta imagine when you're out on these recruiting trails and you're talking to other coaches at the AAU tournaments and things, you guys are all dealing with the same thing. So like, you're not dealing with anything more or less unique than anybody else.
Correct. Yes. It's just, so I'm going into my 19th season in collegiate basketball overall, assistant and head coach. So back in the day when I was a recruiting coordinator, like we were working several years in advance, because we knew this many people are graduating, so we had to replace this, and this is what position. Now with the portal, it's so unpredictable. It's very difficult to plan ahead. So as I said, this is across the board. You got 6 seniors, and you're expecting 3 to come back, and they have that right to not play anymore, or to go ahead and go somewhere else their grad year, or take it a step further. Say a non-senior, someone that's not graduating, they have the right to jump in the portal as well. So it's just no way to really predict how many people you're going to need, how many scholarships you're going to need. So what's helpful is the portal on the other end is helpful, because say you only sign 3 high school kids with the intent of only needing 5 or 6, whatever. Thank goodness for the portal that I can go in there. Just because I had 3 leaving that I didn't expect to leave, I got the portal there, and I can still re-up and still have some good talent and good contributors to the roster. So it is just a different time when it comes to recruiting. It's almost like a crapshoot sometimes. Like, do you gamble on taking this kid, or do you wait because somebody's going to jump in that portal that might be better than this one? And it's kind of like a chess match, and just trying to figure out what's going to work best for your team and for that season.
I got you. So Coach, let people, well, first off, are there any summer plans? Are you hosting any summer camps or things of that nature? What's the summer look like? And then let people know how they can, if they're out on the trail and they see this great, super talented kid with a great character, how can they send you info to let you know about them?
Well, in this world of social media, you wouldn't believe the DMs I get on all the social media outlets. So that's a good way. My email is on the website, shalon.pillow@famu.edu. That's another way to get in contact with me. But yeah, that's the best way to get a hold of me. And just please, great kids, great people, winners, people with great families, all that good stuff. That's really going to build this up and make it long lasting.
Gotcha. What's that Twitter handle again? Surprisingly, I don't have it. I don't know it. What's that Twitter handle, Coach?
So Twitter is not my thing, but it's
okay.
FAMU Coach Pillow. I'm a lot more active on Instagram.
Okay.
And Instagram is my social media of choice.
That's your thing. Okay. All right.
I will go over and check Facebook now and again and Instagram. And Twitter every blue moon. But
all right.
Yeah.
So let people know you can find Coach on Instagram. Also, occasionally she'll dip her toe into Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah.
We'll be looking for you on IG, Coach. Hey, thank you for your time. You guys be well. Make sure to send my guy Matt somewhere good. Send him out to Vegas the next couple of weeks.
Well, we can talk about that. I am solo right now, so yeah. Today was Coach Willer's last day. His great opportunity in Charlotte. So he'll be relocating. Coach Davis got the opportunity to go back to her school where she played. So she'll be coaching there. So new staff coming as well.
Okay, well, we got some more news. So when we talk later on, we'll be talking about that too, and then the rest of the recruits. So next time we get a chance to talk to you. All right.
Sounds good. Thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah, hey, appreciate you, Coach. Good luck out there on the trail.
Coach.
All right.
And thank you for your time. All right. You guys, let's take a short break. Coming up on the other side, we're going to have Coach Shoupe ready to join us. He is in Gainesville already as our team is getting ready for the NCAA Regionals against the University of Florida. So let's take a quick timeout. Come back with Coach Shoupe on the other side. You're watching the O&G Strike Zone. We'll be back in just a moment.
Supermarket sushi, really?
No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never, ever not working.
Are you serious?
Never not working. Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
All right. Welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, Marcus, Kelvin with the quick change to get in his baseball gear because we are talking to our three-time conference championship coach, Coach Jamie Shupe. Coach, on the road in Gainesville, Florida. Thanks for taking time out to join us. Coach, good to see you again. And make sure that we have Coach in there. Coach, we got your audio squared away.
Coach, can you hear us?
Hold on, let me see. There he is. Let me see. We got you now.
Y'all mute?
No, I saw him just take himself off mute. I don't have him on mute. Coach, can you hear us? We're not hearing Coach. Let me see.
He try to figure out the sound.
Yeah. Let me see. You got it. You got his number. Can you text him, Coach? Can you hear us? You can hear us. We can't hear you. All right. Yeah, I don't know, Coach. Let's see, Coach. Can you? Can you? Let's see. Can you log back? Can you log back in? Any chance you can log back in? I don't know. He can't hear us at all. So, Kelvin, let's see. Can you? Let's see. We'll send. Let me see. Coach, you're trying to send Coach a text and see if we can.
I just sent it to him.
Okay, let me try one more time to kind of add Coach to the stream and see if we can get him. Coach, how we doing? Are you there? Let me see. Go. Let me see that. Let me see. Turn. Let's see.
It ain't a turn.
Well, I don't know. I know sometimes the card or the sound is not working properly. I don't want to. I hate to kick him all the way out of the room. So let me see. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give you a chance to kind of to see what you can do on your end there. Okay, so it looks like Coach is gonna try to reconnect in, and we'll go back from there. So I want to give a shout out to a few people who jumped in. Dr. Lori's in the house. Good to see you, Doc. Thanks for joining us. Kenya Sykes is in there. Let's see. He logged back in, so let's see if we have Coach Shoupe. Everybody, fingers crossed now. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you.
There we go.
All right.
There we go. All right.
Yeah.
Coach,
there we go.
I don't know what happened. I was enjoying listening to the interview with Coach Pillow, and once she went away, I guess I went away as well. I will say this. She was talking about the transfer portal. And when you look at our baseball team, we have several guys that are big contributors based on the transfer portal, including our number one guy that pitched on Sunday in the championship game, Hunter Veets, Jan Michael Bastardo, Sebastian Greco, Ty Hanchy. I mean, those are just a few names in the portal that we got that can really turn our program around in a hurry. And she's going to do great jobs. There are a lot of people, all the coaches I pull for at FAMU, there are some people that make it a lot easier for you to pull for them. And she's one of those special people that you really pull for. So I was good to see her on the show, and I know you guys enjoyed visiting with her. She's such a sweet personality and a great coach.
Yes, she is. Yeah. It's funny. You started talking about, you mentioned the guys that have come from out of the portal. Let me go the opposite end of that because, this now being your third championship, but most recently it was 4 years ago. The last time you won, that was 2019, different conference. But we got a couple of guys from that team who are now two-time champions. I don't know if you had any carryovers from the 15 squad to the 19 squad. So
no.
Okay, so these are your first two. Let me see if I got it right, okay? Because I think I heard this on Sunday. Oh my God, the names. Jared Weber and Murray. Is that
Murray.
Zach Murray?
Everyday
Murray. Yes, Everyday Murray.
So, but we got COVID in there in 20. So that's why those guys were sticking around for this year. And both of those were huge contributors. If you look at the tournament alone, Jared Weber led the tournament for FAMU in terms of number of hits. I think he had 12 hits throughout the weekend. And then Zach Morey, all he did was pitch in every game. In the last 4 games he pitched and recorded a save. So he was so instrumental in us winning that. So you got 2 great kids, 2 graduates, 2 guys that have way over a 3.0 GPA, graduated with that. And were a huge contributor to the success, not only this season, but the 2019 season and the 3 seasons in between these 2.
Yes, indeed. Go ahead, Kelvin.
So, Coach, congratulations. I'm superstitious like most coaches and most players are. So, creatures of habit. So that text thing will keep coming as long as we keep winning. But this was let's celebrate. I want to celebrate first of all. I know we got Friday coming, but I want to celebrate and talk about the tournament. I've had the pleasure of seeing you talk on the other programs and so forth since the tournament has ended. But just give me your overall just feel of what you saw from your team, what you liked, and how that can translate to this weekend.
So all coaches are a little. Somebody say coaches aren't all superstitious. Most of them are just a little stitious. So you talked about being. Yeah, I mean, it was exciting the way not only the fact that we won the SWAC in our second year in the league, but the way we won the SWAC. You know, winning the first game in pretty decisive manner, a 9-1 ball game, and then losing in such dramatic fashion. 4-run lead in the ninth inning, everyday Morey on the hill, and they scored 5. And our players were absolutely crushed. And you said you've heard me speak on other podcasts and other things, and you've heard me say this before. We were uncharacteristically bad in the way we handled the loss. I saw finger pointing. I hadn't seen that all year. I saw guys throwing things. Hadn't seen that all year. And I understood it because it was such a devastating loss. And so we had a little heart to heart. We talked to him. We, obviously give him some time. I hurt for him. I was mad as I could be, but I also hurt for him. And I told him a little personal story that I won't get into, but I also told him that it's always easy to be good when things are good. And it's always not so easy to be good when things are bad. And we were bad when things turned bad. And I told him that. I said, that's unacceptable, not only for your baseball career, but for your life and for your future, because life's not going to define you. Your career is not going to be defined. Your future is not going to be defined when things are good if you handle it good. The thing that's going to be the most important to you in life is how you handle the bad. If you're good during bad times, because if you're bad during bad times, then it's going to snowball and things are going to become worse, and it's going to ruin or actually put a big gap in your future in coming back from, what you need, coming back and doing something with your future that you need to do to make yourself a better person, your family, your marriages. I mean, everything is. When things go bad, and they will, things are always rosy. It's being good that makes the difference. And our guys were not good during a bad time. They were bad. And so we talked about that a little bit. And obviously it sounds good now because we were able to come back and win 4 ball games. But yeah, I meant it, I did say something on a couple of podcasts that I want to correct. I said that I'm getting toward the end of my career, and that's true. Not gonna change that. But I probably got 4 or 5 more years of coaching if FAMU will have me for that long. But I said as you get older in your career, it becomes more about the young men and their futures, not as much about your career as a coach, but more about these young men and what their future is going to look like. And that's not true. I'm going to change that because I've always worried about the kids. They've kind of come first. I stayed at Florida State for 21 years. Probably could have gone other places and tried for other things and head coaching positions, but I liked where I was at, and I'm comfortable, where I was at when I was there, even though I was young and maybe should have made some moves that would possibly progress my career in a different direction and upward mobility wise. But I don't regret any of that. So it's always been about the kids to me. I've heard a coach tell me before, said, I'm not worried about their family. I'm worried about my family as the coach. That's not true. I'm not worried about my family. I'm worried about these young men and their future, because I've always said, and you guys have heard me say it, a better FAMU makes a better Tallahassee, which makes a better state, which makes a better country. And I'm thrilled for our guys to get this experience. It could have easily not happened. One pitch here or one at bat there could have made the difference in that ball game and in the outcome of it, who became SWAC champions. But gosh, the way they did it. I know as fans, it had to be fun to watch. A little nerve wracking in the dugout. So y'all didn't have to go through that. But as a fan, I can't imagine how fun and how enjoyable that was for FAMU baseball fans.
Amen. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Go ahead, Marcus.
Well, Coach, first of all, congratulations on winning the SWAC. Definitely want to say that. But I have a question as it relates to the upcoming game on Friday.
Who do we play? We have a good Friday, huh? Okay.
Yes, and hopefully many more.
Yeah.
With the having played the University of Florida, I believe at least the last couple of years as an out of conference game,
Right.
what advantage do you believe that gives you in combination of having the experience of playing them and the amount of seniors that you have on your team?
So it's going to be a completely different ball game. I don't know if the results will be different, but I feel like they will, because we played them in a midweek game, and all we worry about during the season is conference weekend play, because it doesn't matter how we do against the midweek games. What matters is how we do on conference weekends to position ourselves in the tournament. Hopefully next year it won't be a third seed and we won't have to go through the tournament. But that's all that matters to us. And mid games, really, all they are is to prepare us for those weekend matchups. And we got beat by 10-run rules. A 10-run rule when we played Florida last time. But we scored 8 runs. We hit 2 or 3 home runs. Our offense did what our offense has done all year long. And if you look at our out-of-conference strength of schedule, it was ranked 3rd in the country.
Yes.
Now, that's good. Sometimes for this weekend, that'll be good because we played Florida. We played Auburn. We played, I think, 6 teams that are in the NCAA tournament right now. We've played them. So that's good experience. But when you look at the record, it's why we're only 29-28. Our conference record this year, what were we, 18-10, then 22-11 count the tournament. We played Grambling, beat them twice, 23-24, 2 other games, 25. We were 26-13 this year against conference opponents. But our out-of-conference record was not that good, but it was also ranked 3rd in the country in terms of the difficulty of the schedule. So there's good and bad that comes from that. And I lay in bed at night wondering if we do the right thing. Should we be playing a lesser team rather than a SEC team on midweek games? So I go back and forth on what I would like to do. I know it doesn't make our record look like much. We're 29-28, but actually this is our 3rd regional tournament, and that's our best record. That's our only winning record this season going into a regional. So you look at it both ways. Our strength of schedule has been tough. We've played Florida in a midweek game. That's always tough. Any midweek games for us are tough because of the lack of depth. But it's a different ball game now. We're throwing a weekend starter for us. Not going to get to throw Veets because he threw on Sunday, but we'll throw our number 2, Caleb Granger, and he's a capable pitcher. We've got a lot of confidence coming off the SWAC tournament. I tell you, the pressure's not on us. We're just going to go in and have fun and play baseball. The pressure's on Florida because they're picked to win. They're the number 2 national seed. And they have to win in their minds. I've been on that side before. I know what it's like when you're in a regional tournament and you're expected to win. There's a whole lot more pressure than the expectations for a team that just won the SWAC. There's not any. So there is for us. We're very confident coming in. I don't know what the game's going to look like. I enjoyed watching the SWAC tournament. I enjoyed watching our kids compete their butts off to win it. And I'm going to enjoy watching our kids play this weekend, regardless of what happens. But it's baseball, man. Anything can happen. Strange. I mean, we beat them in 2014. They were 6th in the country at that time. And we weren't anywhere near as good as we were this year. So who knows? Baseball is such a strange game. You never know. We're going to go out and play for 27 outs and see what happens.
Thank you, Coach.
Hey, Coach, I'm fascinated as someone who I've spent 20 years coaching basketball, but I'm fascinated at baseball managers, baseball coaches, and the decisions that you guys have to make. And they seem to they're so long. Like you probably chew on them for long periods of time. Like somebody in the chat room asked about decision to let Raylan Wagner go 8.1. I'm just thinking, which decision or decisions? Maybe give me one, because we could be here all day if we talked about it.
I will tell you what I lost the most. I didn't sleep after the Thursday night loss, the 5-inning runs that we gave up, 5 runs we gave up in the bottom of the night. And all night long, I twisted and turned thinking about, why did I not tell Zach to throw a curveball? Why did I call a fastball instead of a curveball that ended up being the hit that won the game? And I'm sure there were a lot of, let me use the word fan, but I think sometimes critics with fans, because I don't care what critics say. I love to hear what the fans say, but the critics pull against us. I don't care what anybody says. I don't do social media. I hear what people say. I could care less, man. I don't do social media at all. That's not a fan. That's a critic. I'm sure I was criticized a lot for that. And I'm in Todd's ear, who's calling the pitches, and I suggest a lot of pitchers. And that was when I told him throw a fastball here, and the guy hit it and ended up being a double or a triple and scoring the tying run or winning run. And I didn't get much sleep over that. So yes, there are things. One call can make the difference in a ball game. It's not fun. It's not fun when things don't go your way. You lose sleep. I don't need somebody to criticize me to lose sleep on, what we do. I take it very personal for one specific reason. And that's these young men hurt worse than I do when we get lost. Seniors this is their last time playing. I got another year, hopefully, coming back to FAMU. These guys are done with their career. Most of them done with their career in baseball. So it's tough. I mean, sometimes the game hangs on one call or one pitch or one decision, one pitching change, one pinch hit, one base running mistake. It's a tough way to make a living. Sometimes it's fun. You get to be involved in the lives of 18 and 22-year-old kids. You get to help mold their future, thus the future of the country, I feel like. And, I don't think that's overstated sometimes, what coaches do for society. But I'm proud of my guys, man. It was so much fun to have things work out, to see our guys battle through adversity. And again, there's no pressure on us. We're going to go play baseball, man. And whatever happens, happens. We're going to get a SWAC championship ring. And we, regardless of what we do in this tournament, but I will be very surprised if we don't play well in this tournament. I don't know what that means in terms of runs scored or final outcome of games, but I'd be very surprised if we don't play well this weekend.
So give me on the flip side of that, give me a decision where you and your assistant coaches looked at each other and just kind of gave a wink or a little fist bump and were like, yeah, that was a good call. That was a pretty good play.
I think recruiting has a lot to do that when we made the decision to bring Sebastian Greco in or go to Norfolk State and get Ty Hanchey or get Hunter Vick from Division II baseball or getting Jan Michael Bastardo from Alabama. So those decisions that really affect you based on recruiting. Recruiting still matters. It's the lifeblood of your program. Good recruiting makes coaches look good. Bad recruiting makes good coaches look bad. So it's all about it. Coach Pillow will tell you that just on it's the key to our success as coaches. You got to recruit, and those are decisions that were made a long time ago that show up in SWAC championships.
Hey Calvin, as our good friend would say, you went out and bought some good groceries, Coach. You went out and bought some good groceries, cooked a good meal, and it turned out to be a championship. So
it was some kind of fun. I mean, it was fun for our young men and something they'll remember the rest of their life. So I'm very happy for them, and we're not done yet, hopefully.
Calvin, give you your last question here with Coach.
Speaking of recruiting, Coach, I know now that you got your third ring now, you can walk with your chest out a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? I know you're a humble guy. I know you're not gonna do that. So I'm speaking for me, for you. But get your facilities, Coach. Get your facilities. You got to write that. You got to write to be a little vocal about that right now. And we with you on that.
I was going to say I think there were a lot of FAMU chests and poked out after. It didn't hurt that we won it beating Bethune-Cookman.
Right.
I will say this too: the rivalries are in the state, on the field. Scotty Hernandez is a great guy, man.
Great.
His guys are class act, and I know some fans may not want to hear that, but rivalries happen in the stands. They don't happen from the dugouts or from the football, the gridiron of the football field.
Agreed.
But it did make it fun beating Bethune. And if they would have won, they would have said the same thing, I'm sure. Hats off to Jose Vasquez, being the defending SWAC champions. They were a very good ball club. They went 26-4 in the regular season, beat us 5 out of 6 times, beat us demoralized our ball club, and yet we were able to come back and beat them twice, and then Bethune in the championship. So, yeah, I hope facilities are on the table. We need that for our program, but today's not the time to worry about that. Today's the time to enjoy a SWAC championship and get ready for postseason baseball in the NCAA Regional Tournament. Something that's only happened in three years in the history of the program. That's a celebration. So that's what this is about today. I hope something be done with the facilities. If it is, that would be great. If it doesn't, we're still going to keep working and try to win championships. That's, our kids are champions, man. You've heard me say this too before, Kelvin. By the way, I miss Kofi on this thing as well. It just hit me that he's usually on there with a smiling face. We had a 3.2 team GPA with 40 guys in the fall. With 35 guys in the spring, we led the athletic department with a 3.44 GPA. So these guys aren't just champions on the baseball field; they're champions in the classroom as well. I know Mike Rice doesn't like to hear that with the golf program because we always battle. It's true, Mike. Yeah, you got to live with it for at least another semester.
There you go, Coach. Brian, let me get this in right quick, Coach. And looking at the Gainesville region with Texas Tech and Connecticut there, along with us, am I crazy to think that this may be the most difficult, challenging region out there?
So Sully and I, the coach at Florida, Kevin O'Sullivan, Sully and I are good friends. And I asked him, who do you piss off in the committee? Because that's a tough regional. And he admitted it. That's a tough. Texas Tech is one of the blue bloods of college baseball.
Right.
UConn, people think of UConn as a basketball school. UConn is where a lot of big leaguers have gone and played their college game. If I'm not mistaken, they're the number 2 seed of this regional. Maybe mistaken there, but they're good enough to be. What's the center fielder used to be for the Astros? Anyway, there's plenty of guys in the big leagues that played at University of Connecticut. So it's a good regional, man. Ours, and there's one other that's very, very tough as well.
Right.
So, that's FAMU baseball has never won a regional baseball game. Yeah.
I'm calling it now. Calling it now. It's our turn. It's our turn. You didn't say it. I said it.
Call it into existence, please. But, it's a 3. So we're going to go out and, again, no pressure on us. Nobody expects us to win in the national, spotlight. So, I took the job, 10 years ago, 9 seasons ago with COVID, and to shock the world. I mean, now's a good time to do it. So I told the guys today, I told them that years ago, we're going to shock the world. So everybody needs to bring their extension cord. Let's go this weekend.
There you go. Gainesville Regional 5:30 is the first pitch scheduled Friday. Rattler Nation, plenty of tickets still available. Get up to Gainesville.
I didn't know that. There are plenty of tickets available still?
I like to say that. I like to believe so. I like to.
Probably not.
I mean, Florida's they're the number 2 national seed, so I thought that place. I told my guys it's probably going to be sold out. So get ready for an environment that like any you played in so far. So I hope it is. I think that puts more pressure on Florida. I hope that place is sold out to the top. Every seat's taken, and people are going crazy because I ain't gonna put pressure on our guys. Hell, we just came back. Excuse me. We just came back from getting our butts kicked with a 4-run night to win 4 ball games to win the SWAC championship. Our guys.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
What pressure? No pressure. So, hey, real quick before you go, what's your schedule? What do you guys do tomorrow over at the ballpark? Do you guys? I mean, any? What's the schedule? Just let people know behind the scenes. What do you guys do over the next 36 hours?
Yeah, we don't have anything till after breakfast. I mean, after lunch tomorrow. We leave here. The bus rolls about 1:45 tomorrow. 2 o'clock to 2:30. They test our bats. It's an NCAA rule. They have to test the bats really specifically every bat. Hopefully, Easton has sent us some new bats. One thing about our offense was so prolific this year. We went from Rawlings to Easton bats, and I think that really helped our hitters set home run records left and right. Not only individual but career, team and individual home run records. And then we practice from 2:30 to 3:45, and then we have a 4 o'clock organizational meeting with all the teams in the tournament. So then we come out, get our rest, get dinner, get our rest, and be ready to go at 5:30 the next day.
All right. Hey, anyone listening from Easton, we need to put this whole team on NIL. This is a great opportunity, Easton. You upgraded a team, and look what they did. That's an NIL story right there, Coach. I'm just going to put the plug out there. Somebody from
We're so far removed from NIL, I don't even know how to spell it. So.
All right. Hey, Coach, good luck to you guys. We will see you in Gainesville. Look forward to seeing you. Hopefully we get to see good Rattler Nation out there for the weekend. Should be fun to watch more baseball. Congratulations to you. Three-time conference champion. Three-time conference champion. Three-time. Two in the MEAC, one in the SWAC, and now FAMU Baseball is one of a few. We've counted 2 other schools that have won a conference championship on 3 different conferences. The SIC, MEAC, SWAC. There are 2 other schools that we have counted within college baseball that have done that. So we are standing, 23rd. I believe it's the 23rd conference title in the program, but we are standing with giants. So you're a part of that, Coach. Thank you. Congratulations to you, the staff, the players. Great guys, man. Enjoyed just seeing the energy from those guys on the field. Can't wait to see it this weekend, Coach. Thank you for your time as always.
Yeah, thank you guys for this program and for all you do for FAMU athletics. I'm blessed to be here, so I appreciate it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Coach Jamie Shupe. Make sure you guys get out and support. Thank you for your time tonight, Coach.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, let's take a short little 2-minute break, come back, and we will get ready to close the show with a lot of news and notes. A lot of stuff is happening around FAMU athletics at the end of the 23 year, man. I mean, no time for the weary. Hey, that's a nice hat. I don't know where you got that hat. Can a brother get an official baseball hat? I got to put in. I got to know somebody. I got to know.
I'm still looking for that. Still looking for that green FAMU hat with the Braves logo on it. But it sounds
I saw several people rocking that hat this weekend. I should have asked them for you.
VP80 Sykes said that the Atlanta alumni chapter gave her one, so I don't know if they made them just for the GAR.
Josh Padilla, he was rocking one, I thought. I got to talk to Josh. Josh was rocking one on one of those days I saw him. I think it was Saturday. So we'll have to reach out to Josh or somebody in the ATL chapter. Got to hook my Marcus up. Hook my guy up. Decatur _G on Twitter is where you can find him. All right. Hey, let's take that quick break, come back, and get back into the rest of the Rattler Roundup, as we like to call it, right here on the ONG Strike Zone. Hit the thumbs up button, the like button, wherever you are. We'll be back in just a moment.
I have in me the ability to make you a better you. So if you work hard, focus, stay on point, you can do anything. Trust me.
We made this track to tell everybody they can follow their dreams.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
When we invest in ourselves, our glow, our vision, our vibe, we all shine. Together, we are black beyond measure.
Remember the revival? Relive the remix. Reunite for the Orange Blossom Classic. HBCU reunion experience. It's year 3, baby, and we back with that 5. Calling all HBCU fans. Labor Day weekend. The I Love Jackson State University takes on the venomous Florida A&M University. Tickets are on sale now. Watch the game in premium style seating or watch it from a luxury suite. And of course, the halftime show is going to be epic right here in the 305. The sonic boom of the South and the illustrious Marching 100. Who you rocking with? The 2023 Orange Blossom Classic. Don't miss the HBCU reunion experience. Labor Day weekend, Miami Gardens, Florida, Hard Rock Stadium. Trust me, we'll see you there. Oh. Check out OrangeBlossomClassic.com for tickets and info.
All right, welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, Marcus here. Appreciate Coach Shoupe. And then previously before him at the bottom of hour one, Coach Pillow for joining us. Appreciate Coach Shoupe for thinking of Kofi and our show. I don't know if it was Scotty or somebody else put out the tweet about the Angels in the outfield. You remember the old movie Angels in the Outfield?
Yeah, that was Scotty.
Yeah, I thought of Kofi while I was out there, and I was like, I think somebody had asked me, and I was like, yeah, I know my guy would have. He probably would have, if he wasn't at the game, he would have been there, probably right there behind on the dugout in those seats behind the dugout, rooting this team on. And but he had a good view. He had a good view of watching his team win a championship. And I know he was a big fan of Coach Shoupe, a big fan of this program. And I always loved the way he would ask Coach about his wish list. Coach, if I had $1 million or something, and I could give you anything, what would you do with it? Would you? So yeah, so that was good stuff. All right. What else did is there anything? Okay, so I know there was, I wanted to kind of put a close to just talking baseball. We mentioned some of the hitting home run records, of course. That is significant, though. Y'all thought I was just joking about the whole Easton NIL thing, but that's look. If somebody,
it's an opportunity.
No joke at all.
Opportunity.
I was thinking the same thing. I just didn't. But yeah, I mean, at least sponsorship or something.
I would love someone from our athletics department to reach out to Easton and say, hey, is this an opportunity that you guys might be interested in? Here's a team that set all kinds of program records, switching from another competitor to your bats. And look what we did. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty impressive. If that doesn't sell a product, I don't know what does. Anyone who knows Easton, or I'm sure we got a contact or somebody, but Easton needs to jump on that. The 3-time conference champions list. That was, so I'm going to give a big shout out to, I want to make sure, where did I see it first? Was it Rick? Rattler
yeah,
Rick.
It was Rick.
Yeah, he first tweeted this out, and I gotta, God bless it. Where is it at? There's so much news that's been going on. I gotta go back and find it. Okay, so give me a second. I'm finding it here. I'm gonna come to Keith's thing in a second. Keith also had one interesting thing here. Okay, so he had tweeted out that, is FAMU the first school to win a conference championship in three different conferences? And so the answer, quite frankly, okay, here we go.
No.
I think I found it.
The answer is no.
Okay, no. Okay, so here it is. The original question by Rick. Is FAMU the only university on any level to win a baseball championship in 3 different conferences? MEAC, SIC, and SWAC. And I love the fact that he always says, I gotta talk to, we talked about bringing on alums and people like that. I gotta find out what Rick job was previously, because he must have an archive that is, I mean, man, he pulls up these great photos that you're just like, yo. work for the.
Rick is retired, so he got time.
Yeah. Always he's tweeting photos from way back in the day, and just if you look at the like the baseball field, you're like, wait a minute, there's so the baseball field looks like it used to be where the current baseball or football fields or where the Lawson used to be. You know what I'm saying? When you just kind of look at some of these old photos. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So the first person to respond, the guys at Penalty Talk, they did a little digging, and at first they came up with South Florida, who won the American in 2021, the Metro Conference. Remember the old Metro Conference that used to have
Florida State and Louisville used to be in there. Yeah, Memphis.
So South Florida won that in 1995, and then prior to that, South Florida won the Sun Belt in 1990. Okay. Then Dr. Cavill found another school, TCU. Yep. They won Conference USA 0405. MWC, what is that? The Midwest? What is that? The Mountain West?
Mountain.
I think the Mountain West.
Yeah, Mountain West, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the conference they were in preceding going to the Big 12.
Okay, so they kept their winning, and they won in 06, 7, 8, and 2010. Then they transferred to the Big 12 and won in 2014, 16, 21, and this year. So, and if you count FAMU, that is 3 schools. Now, we could get into semantics about the SIAC and what was their official designation back in the 50s and 60s in terms of being a Division 2 or Division 1. Like Division 2 didn't come around until the 70s, if I'm not mistaken, right? So if that's the case, then the SIC was still considered quote unquote Division 1. I could be wrong. No, I'm wrong on this.
Yeah, they had.
I have to look that up.
In the early 70s, they had what they called the college division and the university division. They went to the Division 1, 2, and 3 format in the early 70s.
Okay.
So we were still like there was the university division, which would be analogous, I believe, to the FBS now, and college division was like everybody else. So Georgia Southern, us.
Were they still NCAA? Was it SIC NCAA back then?
I'm not sure. It may have been NAIA because I remember in reading Dr. White's book that in the 60s that FAMU was, well, the NAIA playoffs were held in St. Petersburg and they had a segregation policy, so FAMU didn't get invited despite having good teams. And I think even further back, Tennessee State won a couple of NAIA basketball championships. So I'm not sure how all that worked out from back then.
Okay. AD sent me a text and said the SIC was NAIA in the 50s and 60s. So, you know, but just in terms of among HBCU schools, we stand alone. I don't think again, no one else has turned over the leaf and said that other HBCUs have won 3 titles. All right. Any other baseball notes or stats or historical things that you guys came across before we kind of transition over to another or other topics? Anything else baseball related?
Yes, I just want to make one observation about the tournament coming up. We are in the toughest or the second toughest regional that's out there, as Coach communicated. But we are an interesting team. We can hit the ball. We have pretty solid defense. So if we can get pitching and we don't we have a chance when many people would say we shouldn't have a chance. I'm really interested to see how this thing plays. We played Auburn, coach in the midweek also. Well, we didn't pitch any of our normal starters and bullpen folks. I've always told y'all about his philosophy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we put up 8 runs on them also, and these were 7-inning games.
Right.
So we averaging close to double-digit runs, and we're not even playing our normal rotation and starters. So I'm going to say it doesn't take for us. All the metrics say we with a bunch of big dogs, and so I think the anticipation is that it's going to be a 10-run rule. It could be, but I'm willing to bet we're going to give teams a run for their money. I really do. I like this team. I like the mindset of this team, and we've hit all year. So if we stay true to what we've been all year, we're gonna put some pressure on some teams, and I would love to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's it.
All right. I like Jeremiah Clark's here thoughts. If FAMU can stay away from UF having multiple big innings, i.e. 3 or more, we got a chance to win. I haven't followed UF very well, but I'll take your
Very
word
good team. Just to tell you, he told you number 2 in their record and everything. But just to give you an idea of the daunting task, they have, I think, 3 Major League Baseball prospects who can be potential first-round picks. They got 100 and something home runs. They got a guy who's sucking home runs who has like 28 home runs. They average over 314, 320 somewhere as a team. So they are an offensive team, and they have a lot of pitchers. So I mean they number 2 for a reason. It's a daunting task.
I get all that. That sounds all great, but baseball. When you say all that, I'm gonna be that guy.
It ain't no buts with that.
No,
That's what it is.
Okay, well, look, that is.
Those are numbers.
But I will say that the sport of baseball, when you talk about first-round draft picks, the fact that we've seen guys come and be stars and successful in Major League Baseball from all over the rounds, being a first-round draft pick prospect, doesn't sound as heavy a thing as maybe a first-round draft pick in the NFL or a first-round draft pick in the NBA. Of the 3 sports, I would say it's the least, and I'm not diminishing, but I'm just saying it's, what I'm saying?
Yes, you are. You're trying to diminish. I tend to, baseball has a lot of rounds, a lot more teams.
We have some guys who should be on the radar.
It dilutes. Baseball dilutes, and they draft dilutes, their numbers because they have so many of them. But the point is that we're playing the number 2 team. Their stats say they're the number 2 teams. With that being said, we played them at home. We beat them on that. Well, they redid their field now, but we beat them there. So we, like Coach say, no pressure. They're gonna have fun, enjoy it, and and we're gonna enjoy it. Me and Brian, watching them and rooting them on.
There you go, and AD will be there as well. There may even be. I tease this, and maybe I shouldn't. I'm gonna tease it. I was about to say something real appropriate, but we might be doing a little, and I say a little, we might be doing some play-by-play broadcasting of audio only of the game Friday, and we'll just say this weekend. And AD, Drew, myself, even Kelvin Rozier, we may be doing some play-by-play broadcasting of this via the Black College Sports Network. So I just tease this. We got a lot of things still have to go right over the next 36 hours, but you may hear our voices along with watching the live stats on the Black College Sports Network. So we'll obviously send out the appropriate promotional material. So make sure you're following the ONG on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at ONG StrikeZone. Also follow the Black College Sports Network at MyBCSN1, the number 1. Championships as the season comes to an end. I think Alabama State won the SWAC's
men and women.
Men and women. But it should be noted, and if I did read correctly in the press memo, that Alabama State won 8 championships in their program. FAMU won 5. Now, we're counting. This is thanks to Keith, Things Up podcast, 5th quarter, FAMU at FQ FAMU. He posted that 5 championships, team championships, regular season and conference. We had the double from volleyball, we had the double from tennis, and then we had the conference tournament from baseball. That's a pretty good year. This might be the best year. It's definitely in year 2 of the SWAC. It's the best. Oh no, Kelvin's shaking his head. I was gonna say best year since when?
Best year when?
Well, I don't know. You tell me. Since when?
Well, no, man. Those 90s, man. We were winning and everything in the MEAC. Tennis,
I forgot.
Volleyball, softball, football, baseball in the early 90s. Track. Men and women's track.
That's what we're trying to get back to. That's what we're trying to get back to. So those were the golden era years of FAMU athletics, and we're trying to get back that. I'm looking at the total team standings right now. Alabama State did finish first. They finished by, it looks like, 1.5 points over Jackson State. Prairie View came in third. It kind of gets 30 points away from here. Prairie View finished third. Southern 4th, Texas Southern 5th, Grambling 6th, and then we tied with Alcorn State for 7th. We did finish ahead of Bethune-Cookman. So, but that's pretty good. But again, I think Alabama State, the sports where they got us, I think they won a men's tennis title. Then they win a track and field.
Indoor, outdoor, yeah.
But, they didn't win any of the big 3.
Baseball regular season.
Baseball regular season, yeah. But the big 3, and if you want to include women, well, let's just say the big 5. Here's the big 5 in my opinion. You guys tell me if I'm wrong. I consider football, volleyball, men and women's basketball, baseball. That's your big 5. And if you want to say big 6, would you say track or softball? I'd probably say softball. Any thoughts on that?
It's really a big 3. I separate them by revenue generating and non-revenue generating. So,
there you go. Okay.
Men and women basketball, football, and potentially baseball are that 4.
Right.
And for me, that's it.
Okay. Let me pivot. I just seen this come across on the chat, so I got to make sure to bring this up. Shout out to Destiny Cuevas, Michaela Irvis, Janaea Mobley, and Nia Morgan, who will be representing FAMU in the Minority Softball Prospects 2023 HBCU All-Star Game on Friday. That's upcoming. So that is a big-time event. Had a chance to run into Nia and Janaea at the conclusion of Sunday's games. And so, we can obviously Corinthian had a chance. Obviously that's Naya's dad. She confirmed. Obviously the we already knew. It's funny because I mentioned it to her, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I already knew you were coming back. Your dad had already said you were coming back on the chat." But so I ran into her. Janaea, obviously, she does not have any more eligibility, but she's planning on being she's looking to be a grad assistant. So she will have an opportunity to be a grad assistant with the program. So she will still be around. So it was a pleasure to finally meet Naya, and I'm excited that we were talking about catching caught every game this past year. Hopefully, and like I said, we already know there's some recruits coming in, and hopefully she'll get a chance to play a little third base. I think third base was her other position, if I recall. So that was very cool meeting those two young ladies. And it was really cool just seeing people come up from Tallahassee to go to the baseball park up in Atlanta. That was awesome. All right. Let's transition to football. A couple of football news items. I know you guys are itching to kind of talk on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
First thing that came out, Athlon Sports preseason All-American only really had 2 HBCU players on that list. Trey Wilhoit is one of them. He is a preseason All-American. Obviously a punter who had a good year at, where was Trey's previous year, Marcus? Eastern
Illinois.
Yeah, he was already
Eastern Illinois.
Yeah, he was already a well-recognized and respected punter there. So he comes over with the preseason accolades. And I think the other HBCU player was the DB from North Carolina Central. So, again, props, congratulations, Trey. Then we come to find out, and Marcus, you had kind of touched on this, thanks to some people in the pit. A big news announcement came out at noon, and it looks like our star defensive end is coming back for another season or two. Yes, indeed, Kamari Stevens, the All-American defensive lineman who, dipped his toe in the portal, decided to come back. Obviously, I haven't had a chance. Vaughn Wilson just did a video interview. So if you guys want to check out HBCU Game Day, Vaughn got the exclusive with Kamari. I didn't get a chance to listen to it. Did you guys get a chance to listen to it? Anything you gleaned from that? Go ahead. Give us a recap of that, Kelvin.
Yes.
Recap that.
Yeah, I was able to listen to it, and I was really impressed with Kamari's articulation of everything. Right, I thought he was real seasoned and experienced in how he handled that. He really talked about the team, returning to the team, how good of a team the team is going to be, how Coach Patterson, who's the D-line coach, and Coach Simmons believed in him and kind of helped him to become the player that he was. They had talked to him, put him aside, I think he said in 2020 and 2021, and say, hey, if you follow the blueprint, this could happen. And then he was like, and it happened. He believed in them. He was like, and Vaughn even tried to get him to talk about, being wanted and sought after by bigger schools and so forth. And he pretty much was like, because he took the visit to UCF. And of course, on the video, he even had the little Nike UCF sweatshirt on, which was cute. But what he said was he kind of took that question, was like, no, it's all about the team. It ain't about my success. If I put in the work, then he mentioned about Marquise and Zay and Xavier Land and Xavier Smith and how they stayed and they went through the program. We got all these guys in the pros, and he said if he do the same, put in that same work, he'll be the next guy in line to do that. So this really solidifies our defense. If we when we talked about the spring game and we talked about how dominant both defenses were, you remember Gentle Hunt didn't even play that game along with some other guys. So I am anticipating, as long as we don't have any injuries, this is going to probably be the best defense we've had, and we've had some darn good ones lately.
Yeah, I would echo Kevin. I did get a chance to see it right before the show came on tonight, and I would echo what Kelvin said. And also, it sounded very similar to what Isaiah Land said last year as it relates to, yeah, I checked some things out, but the people here at FAMU invested in me, and I wanted to be loyal. At least that's what I took from. He didn't use those words, but the loyalty and the camaraderie that he felt with the coaching staff, and the fact that they did pull him aside before last year, I guess in 2 seasons prior, and said just trust the process and these things will happen, and everything lined up. Everything happened as the coaches told him. So he really expressed a degree of loyalty, commitment, and love for Coach Simmons and for Coach Patterson.
Who was it that we had on, and I'm trying to recall, that talked about, oh, no. It was Coach Quinn. Coach Gray was talking about this, where guys may go into the portal, but when you go into the portal, you're DE1 or DL1 at FAMU. You going into the portal, being a Power 5 school, you're all of a sudden, and I'm paraphrasing what he said, but you may go in, you're a third string, maybe second. You're kind of feeling a need. I mean, sure, you could work your way into becoming that guy, but, maybe he got out there and the reality check was, why go be the third string guy at UCF when I'm the guy at FAMU on the end? And so I'd like to know who is, because see, I think part of the truth that we have to tell guys is the truth and reality about the NFL draft. And we can no longer sell guys on, hey, if you come to FAMU, you'll be drafted. That, unfortunately, you may be drafted, but there are more reasons why they aren't drafting our guys that have nothing to do with us. You follow me? It has nothing to do with the player. It has nothing to do with the program. It's more about them and what their preferences are, right? So we have to be honest with kids about that. And I hope we were being honest with him and saying, hey, you're going to get a shot if you do X, Y, and Z. But as you've seen from the last 2 years, and guys who are definitely worthy, they didn't get drafted. But that doesn't mean their dream ended.
Well, I mean, that's what he articulated. He articulated, that the 3 guys before him, they in the league, living out their dream at the end of the day. It might have took a different route than what they wanted it to do, but at the end of the day, they in the league. They getting paid. They making rosters. So, he was honest with it, and I don't think it had so much to do with competing and trying to win a starting position at other schools. He had other Power 5 offers legitimately. If you look at some of the guys, like the guys who left Jackson State and some other HBCUs, A&T, those guys went to Power 5 schools. They just made that decision. Now they ain't guaranteed to start, but they have scholarships at Power 5 schools. So I'm sure his metrics meet all the things they're looking for, and he has 2 years of eligibility. So I'm sure he had a full scholarship to the 7-8 schools that reached out to him. But at the end of the day, like you say, it's great to be a Rattler. He know what he has here. He knows what's in front of him, and he's loyal and committed to what's here. So I respect that.
All right. The third big nugget of news related to FAMU football today was the announcement that came out as ESPN released their schedule for the opening couple of weekends of the college football season. And what we found out is that the Orange Blossom Classic featuring FAMU and Jackson State.
ESPN, baby.
Yes, will be featured
nationally.
On the Prime Network, Prime Channel.
The mothership.
ESPN, the mothership. No numbers or anything else or letters after it. Just the main 4 letters at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And that is huge. Last year it was on ESPN2, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we remember Coach Prime had, he was like, why isn't it on ESPN? Blah, blah, blah. Well, hey, this year it's on ESPN, which is huge. And they realize that Deion Sanders is not at Jackson State. They understand that. They know exactly where he is. So the fact that this game is a 3 p.m. game is huge in so many ways. This is the exposure game that we talked about, right? And this isn't us playing the University of Miami. This isn't which doesn't get on ESPN. This isn't us playing South Florida, which doesn't get on ESPN. This is an HBCU playing another HBCU on ESPN. Thoughts, gentlemen?
Wonderful. I know we're one of 3 HBCU matchups that weekend, but arguably, well, I guess you could say that the Jackson, no, actually that's the previous weekend. The Jackson State, that MEAC SWAC Challenge, the previous.
Is that
weekend.
on ESPN? That's on ESPN?
It's gonna be on ABC.
ABC.
It's going to be on ABC primetime the Saturday before Labor Day.
Wow,
so
okay.
We have that, and I think the Red Tail Classic, I think I just saw that announced.
Yeah.
Tuskegee, and I forgot who they're playing. I don't know if it's Valley or
Fort
somebody
Valley
else.
State. Usually it's Fort Valley State.
They're playing that, I believe, at 7 p.m., but I'm not sure which channel is coming on. I don't know if
it's on ESPNU nationally.
ESPNU. But yeah, the headliner, of course, for us is Rattlers, and just the last 2 years is, and for us being the Orange Blossom Classic. And so got to give kudos to the Orange Blossom Classic committee and the negotiations they were able to do, but also the efforts by the 2 teams to get on national TV just ahead of
Florida State, LSU.
Florida State, LSU. I'm assuming that's coming on the ABC.
ABC.
Yeah,
so, but still, I mean, we more or less have an exclusive window on the Mothership channel on Sunday on a holiday weekend.
Holiday weekend, yes indeed, yes indeed. That is huge. Now I had to do a little digging because I was like, we flirted around with other ESPN networks, right? ESPN2, ESPNU, ESPN Classic, but this, and I had to go to the SID. I had to go to other people. So Josh Padilla sent me a reply back to my text because I said, how many other times or how many other teams has FAMU played on ESPN? The main 4.
Heritage Bowl.
Right. Well, that was
Southern.
one. Yes. 95 Heritage Bowl against Southern University. Good call, Kelvin. You must have been on the group thread, or you already knew this, one of the 2.
I'm cheating.
Yeah.
I remember watching that.
I do too. I was still in school. I mean, y'all were probably still too, I think. Maybe just out. I don't know. No. Anyway, I remember it though. It was that was a big game. Heritage Bowl 95. I think we lost. Did we lose that game? I think we lost that game.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we lost that game. But now technically ESPN wasn't around, but I would say 1979 when we played the University of Miami, that was on ABC.
Okay, that was one of the regional games.
Yeah, I don't think that
the big lawsuit.
Yeah, I don't think that was on necessarily ESPN because ESPN didn't really.
No,
they came about around that time.
No, they didn't.
80 next year.
They didn't officially launch to like 80. Yeah.
Okay.
So they
were created in 79.
So like if you consider the 79 Miami game, and then of course you had the Heritage Bowl. This is the just the third time that FAMU has appeared on either ABC or what is considered the main sports channel for ESPN ABC.
No, it's more than that. Then, if you go back to those 7-8 teams, the national championship game was on ABC. The Jackson State game was on ABC because you didn't have cable network the way it is now back then. So FAMU some of those games were on regional ABC TV.
Okay, so then let's say it this way. This is a better way of saying it then. This is the second time on ESPN cable, or in the modern cable era as we know it, the television cable era as we know it. This is just the second time that FAMU has appeared on ESPN.
Correct.
Sound right? Yeah. So
sound good.
That's huge. That's huge, man. And shout out to Miss Kendra Bullock and the OBC, because I don't think that from the text communication that I was having with somebody, I don't quite think they knew that was going to happen. They were probably thinking ESPN2. So for them to get the ESPN game is big. And I will just I will add on and say, why would you leave this? That's all. I'm not going to say any more. What else are we going to talk about?
Well, it's only for 2 years.
What's on? Okay. I'm just saying.
Maybe.
Are we going to be there next year, Marcus? Since we're going to get down in the weeds, are we going to be there next year?
Well, I mean, not for the next 2 years, 24 and 25.
Okay. All right. I just don't want that exposure and that money to go to any other Florida HBCUs. That's all I'm saying. You know.
Hero Sports gave top returning defensive lineman. They gave a top 40. Kamara Stevens is listed as the 15th best FCS returning defensive lineman, according to Hero Sports, for the upcoming season.
Okay. Hey, that's good. A lot of the preseason ranking shows and magazines are going to start to come out in the month of June, and you're going to start to see a lot of these accolades from a lot of these entities upcoming. Any other news and notes?
One more football note.
Okay.
Camps.
What do you got?
Camps.
Mm-hmm.
We have our the Willie Simmons camps. I think is this weekend, right?
Yes.
I thought he was in Texas.
Oh, that's for tomorrow.
He is for tomorrow, and then he comes back. He's out there with I think Coach Sanders and the HBCU camp at Texas Southern. Yeah.
No, PV.
Prairie View. That's correct. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's out there, but his camp is this weekend.
The Willie Simmons Little Rattlers football camp, which is at Bragg Memorial Stadium. Registration ends June 2nd for ages 6 to 13. Starts at 8 o'clock in the morning, ends at 4 o'clock. I don't have the actual website, but I think if you go to FAMUathletics.com, or if you go to Coach Willie Simmons' Twitter handle or Facebook, I'm sure you can find that information. So that's a week-long camp starting. Are you sure it's this? I thought you got on the schedule here. It's June 5th to the 9th. And then June 10th is the Willie Simmons kicking camp, which registration ends June 9th for rising 9th through 12th graders from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's $40 to, get an opportunity to go. Coach is even having a Willie Simmons Be the Rock OL D-line camp. $40, rising 9th through 12th graders. This is an opportunity to be seen by Coach Simmons and his staff, to get on the radar. There's a lot of kids that are doing these camps over the summer, And this is how a lot of guys get on radars through these type of camps. Coach is even doing a Rat Boys 2.0 7-on-7 passing camp, which will take place June 10th. Registration for that ends on the 2nd of June. That's for grades 9 through 12. $350 team entry fee. And then in July, probably right before the start of fall camp, July 28th, the Willie Simmons Heels and Helmets Ladies Clinic, $75. Registration ends July 14th. Ages 21 to 80. Now, that's a hell of a age range right there. 21 to 80.
And you also have to give props to 2 Twitter posters.
Blind, cripple, or crazy.
Kelvin said
2
that.
Twitter posters, Ty Floyd, and I don't know the young lady's real name, but I guess she put the challenge out there to Troy Johnson, and he said if she can get 25 people to sign up for this, or 25 people to volunteer to come to this camp, they'll put it on. And she and Ty put the work in, and they're having the camp.
All right. There it is. That's what's up. Now, speaking of camps, Kelvin, I know this is in our notes, so bear with me here. FAMU softball is supposedly having a camp. And I say supposedly because I haven't been able to confirm this on the site that is in this flyer. But June 18th through the 20th. Oh, you know what? That's an old – you notice if you look at that flyer, if you notice the date on that, Kelvin, that's why. You'll see what I'm seeing. So I had asked, it was funny because I had asked Janaea and Naya when I saw them if there was a camp happening for softball, and they weren't sure that there was. And so I almost, anyway, we'd like to see all of our programs eventually do camps, and we're hoping one day that we'll
do
see
it.
Camps. Yeah,
because everybody doing basketball. Everybody doing basketball camps, even Ed Waters,
Everybody else in the state, you mean, is doing basketball camps, right? Everybody else in the state. All right, let's not get in more trouble. But all right, we got to put it into the show. Any other final notes and thoughts here that you want to add, Marcus, before we get up and get out of here?
Just one quick thing. I'm still compiling my spreadsheet stuff for football recruiting, but they've been offering a lot of folks for the classes of 24, 25, and 26, and all over. I'm still catching up, but we've hit Virginia, North Carolina, Florida, of course, Mississippi. So they're starting to spread their wings a little bit and take advantage of this national exposure.
Yeah, FAMU's going to really have their opportunity to pick the best of the best here coming up. I really feel that's on the way of happening. Any other final news and notes you want to add, Kelvin?
Oh, one more thing.
Sorry, go ahead, Mark.
Friend of the program, Defron Fob with
Oh yeah, the
all proceeds. All proceeds are for the month of June for FAMU paraphernalia from alcollection.com will go to the baseball program.
Anthony Lawrence.
Anthony Lawrence. So any purchase of FAMU merchandise on alcollection.com, any FAMU will go back to the baseball program. And speaking of that, I also saw
a percentage of proceeds.
I'm sorry. Thank you. I give away somebody's money. A percentage of the proceeds. Yeah. And there was also a great reminder by A.D. Sykes to give to the Rattler Athletic Fund in the name of the baseball program. So it's a great time, and again, I like to think of small numbers. So this is the 23rd championship. So maybe giving $23 in the name of, FAMU baseball. All of that adds up, If 1,000 people gave $23, that's $23,000 going into the budget. Now you could choose to think bigger, maybe 25, 30, whatever. But whatever you give, the point is we gotta encourage this building. You know, we're happy that the teams won. I hope we did the same thing for tennis. When tennis won, that we needed to drop. Hey, maybe you got an extra stipend check. You teachers out there, you get that bonus teaching check. Maybe $50, maybe $25 to tennis, $25. You know, go support your programs. I know when I get my little teacher bonus check, I'm gonna do that. I hopefully get a bonus check. Hopefully I did something right. But you know, got to give when you can give. All right. Any other final notes for you, Kelvin?
No, I'm just psyched and ready to go to Gainesville, man, and cheer the guys on. And if we call in games, call the games. But I'm looking for us to put fear at least in our opponents this weekend.
All right, and I was hopeful when I said that during the interview that I really hope there are tickets available, but I am aware that the Florida fans usually buy in groves, but hopefully they left some seats available for the visitors, and they don't open those up until maybe Thursday. So I would say probably sometime before noon.
To answer your question, the 80 sites was able to secure, I think she said 40 or 50 tickets as of a couple of hours before 5 o'clock at our ticket office. So you can call the ticket office, and I would encourage you to try to buy those tickets if they ain't already from the ticket office first. And if they don't have if they don't have any more, then you go to the site, the Florida website, and get your tickets now. There will be no tickets on walk up. If they ain't gone, they will be going tomorrow.
Right. And
no, there ain't gonna be no walk up tickets.
No, but okay, so I'm looking at the website. Single game tickets go on sale Thursday, June 1 at 10 a.m. So tomorrow at 10 a.m., you can get single game tickets. Today is when general public can order session passes. So that's like if you wanted to, get a all session pass, which, in case you're not familiar, the regional is the 2 games on Friday. Then they have a winner's side, a loser's side, and then potentially it's double elimination format. So, it'll probably go up until Sunday. So, hey, you never know. Whatever happens in game 1, game 2 is where FAMU, could be playing on Sunday. Somehow, some way, we might find ourselves playing on Sunday. So, but the all session tickets, general admission are $30. If you want to just buy a single game ticket, say you just want to go up Friday, it's $10. It wouldn't hurt you. Probably spend the $30 on the general admission all session. That'll cover your whole weekend. $30 a ticket will cover your whole weekend. So go to floridagators.com. Just type in or look for the baseball. They're powered through Ticketmaster, so you can also go to ticketmaster.com. All right. I think you guys hit on everything. And so I really don't have much to conclude it with, other than, again, thanking Coach Salon Pillow of our women's basketball program. Thankful to Coach Shoupe for both of them coming on and just being big supporters of what we do. And we are proud to support their program in any way, in every way possible. Shout out to Rattler Nation in Atlanta, or Rattler Nation who went up to Atlanta. That was fun. Let's have some more fun in Gainesville. And look out for our special announcement, Black College Sports Network. We might be doing some extra stuff surrounding the game. Okay. So that's going to do it for tonight's show. Follow the ONG Strike Zone at ONG Strike Zone, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Go download the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. MyJBN, MyBCSN is where you can find us. And the BCSN Pod Zone. Everywhere you listen and download podcasts, you guys would do us a huge favor if you would go be a part of the BCSN Pod Zone. Find it on Amazon Music, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts, everywhere you go. So we got to get out of here. Appreciate everybody for joining. Hit the thumbs up button if you didn't. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel or our Facebook page, you can do that as well. For Marcus, Kelvin, Kofi up above, we want to thank you guys for watching the show. Make sure to strike hard this weekend, Rattler Nation's in Gainesville. Make sure to strike, and strike again. FAMU, baby, coming to Gainesville. Let's go.